I'm Clarissa and I want to welcome you to the official first video in our Kiara Lash page. To kickstart this journey, we're going to be focusing on the #1 problem that every lash artist has had, and that is retention. Maximizing your retention is one of the things that you'll want to focus on to not only retain your clients, but make sure that your work is the best that it can possibly be. To cover all of her retention tips and tricks, we have our beautiful and talented Julia.
Hey everyone, my name is Julia Magana. For those of you who don't know me, I am Lash Aesthetics on Instagram, and today we're going to be talking about retention. I feel like it's a multitude of different steps that we take to go ahead and maximize our retention for our clients, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 most important steps that we found to help with your guys' retention.
Yeah, the last one is one that I didn't know about and honestly has helped so much. So make sure you guys stay tuned until the end. We have a lot to cover with you today, so let's go ahead and get started.
Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and break down the 5 key components as far as retention goes. So first things first, what you want to start off with is analyzing your client's lashes, looking through them, making sure there's no leftover makeup, mascara, or buildup, or even dry skin on the lashes. You could go ahead and start with a lash bath or primer, either or, as long as we're taking the right steps to prep our client's lashes to ensure that they're clean. Dirty lashes will not stick, thus will affect your retention. So my client here already went ahead and washed her lashes prior to this video, so we don't have to do that. But what we are going to go ahead and do, using our Kiara Lash Primer, we're going to go ahead and just take the extra step to make sure that our lashes are nice and clean and that we're neutralizing that pH level to about a 7. So this primer in particular will go ahead and help cleanse and restore your lashes. It's paraben free and oil free. There also is vitamin E within our primers to help strengthen those natural lashes, and it is odorless, so that way if your client is really sensitive to fragrance, you will not cause a lot of irritation. It also helps open up the cuticles so that your lash adhesive has a better bond, and will also get rid of any excess dirt and oil buildup within your clients so that we have really clean lashes, because again, dirty lashes do not stick. Now that we have our client ready and prepped and ready to go, we are going to go ahead and start with our lash primer. We're going to be using a micro swab, so we are just going to take 1 droplet of primer onto our micro swab. Be very careful not to touch the actual primer applicator so that we avoid cross-contamination. I'm going to go ahead and touch the two together to dispense the product on both of the micro swabs. And then we're going to go ahead and do a light swoop, avoiding touching the skin, and just running this back and forth on the lashes to get rid of any excess oil, if there's any dirt, makeup, buildup within our lashes. Do the same thing to the other side. The reason why we're using 2 micro swabs is that so we evenly coat every single natural lash to ensure proper adhesion. So next thing we're going to go ahead and do is just dry our lashes using a lash fan and a spoolie, just to ensure that that primer is nice and set. And I do like to brush the lashes kind of upward as if I was blow drying hair, just to kind of make the lashes all sit straight and even, so it's going to help you better to isolate. Okay, now that we have our client all prepped and ready to go, we're going to be moving on to our second step, which is using your glue and understanding your glue properly. We are going to be using the Kiara Pro Lash Adhesive. This is our black adhesive. It has a low viscosity. It has a 40 to 70% humidity range, so you have a lot of room to work with this glue. I love this glue so much. It's become one of my favorite glues to use. Retention is seriously so amazing with this glue. Up to 7 to 8 weeks worth of retention out of this glue with proper prep, of course, and application and placement. Okay, so now that we talked about all the key components that are in our glue, let's go in a little bit in depth about temperature and humidity and why it's so important when it comes to your glue. We have a lot of range of humidity levels that we can work with this glue, which is really awesome. I've personally found that I love my humidity levels a little bit lower. That's just personally what works for me, especially with the low viscosity glue. We are at a 42% humidity and a 72 degrees in here, which is relatively more on the cooler side. If you're somebody who is in an environment where it's a little bit warmer, make sure that you do have an AC or a ventilated control aired room so that you can go ahead and control your temperature for when it fluctuates. Now, you don't ever want to have your humidity levels drop below a 40% or go higher than a 70%. The reason being is that if your humidity level is way too low, the glue will either one be really stringy as you're pulling it out of your lash ring or your glue cup. So we just really want to avoid that. If your humidity level is too high, you will go ahead and cause the glue to dry faster. So when you're going in and you're dipping in your extension and applying it to your client's natural lashes, you'll notice that the extension will not even adhere or just like fall over because it is already drying by the time you're here from your tile to your client's natural lashes. So for maximum retention, make sure that you are staying in the range of your humidity level and understanding where your glue properly aligns. So for us, we're going to be using a 45% humidity and 72 degrees Fahrenheit in our room. Now let's go ahead and move on to the importance of shaking your glue. So you could either use a glue shaker, a vortex, or even using your hand. For this demonstration, I am going to go ahead and shake up my glue using my hand. Now, if you are using your hand, you do want to make sure that you're shaking your glue really aggressively, really hard for about 90 seconds. If you're using a nail polish glue shaker, you want to do it for about 15 seconds. And on your vortex, you do want to use it for 10 seconds. The importance of shaking your glue is to really mix up all those ingredients together so that way that your glue is nice and shooken up. I've noticed that this is a really key component that a lot of people miss when it comes to retention, is making sure that those ingredients are properly shooken up. Because if you don't and you just go ahead and apply your glue into your glue dot, you will notice that the ingredients start to separate. So again, we just want to make sure that all the ingredients are nice and mixed up and are formulated properly together. Okay, so I did go ahead and shake up my glue off camera using my hand for about 90 seconds. Now that my glue is nice and properly shaken, I'm gonna go ahead and dispense a glue bead into my glue cup. Now that we're all nice and prepped and ready to go, let's go ahead and move on to application. Now we have to talk about placement. Placement is super important when it comes to retention, because if you're not properly placing your lash extension where you need it to be, you will cause lips, you will cause not a really good bond, thus making your retention not last as long as it could. So getting that proper bond to our natural lash, whether you are going on top of the lash, underneath the lash, making sure that your application and your direction and flow is matching with your client's natural lashes, so that way you can create the best bond. Just like that. For now, we are working on our top layer. So we are going to go ahead and go in and isolate. Take your time with isolation, making sure that you are finding that top layer. Isolate, and we are coming at our angle of our wrist just slightly upright, placing that extension right on top. Slight wiggle movement so that the lash can slightly wrap around the natural lash, but we don't want to wrap so much so that the clothespan opens up a lot more. We kind of want it to stay really tight and really closed. So same thing. Having proper bondage and application will go hand in hand with retention, because if you're not placing your extension properly on your natural lash, you will cause your lash to pop off when your client goes home to wash them, or when she brushes them, she will notice that her lashes will come off. So make sure that you are getting that flush application so that your lashes do adhere right and last you a lot longer. Again, isolating, coming right on top of that natural lash, placing our extension, slight wiggle, slight wrap, hold. And as you guys can see, we have a beautiful, perfect bond.
Julia, someone on our Instagram asked how long retention should last. Could you let us know?
Yeah, so the importance of retention is to obviously make sure that your client is coming in repeatedly to make sure that we're keeping up with the health of their lashes and the integrity of their lashes. So typically, people typically have a 2-week retention fill, which people come in for every 2 weeks. However, especially if you're doing proper application, if you are prepping your extensions properly, you'll get somebody who can come in 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Now, just because lashes can last up to say 7 to 8 weeks, it is not recommended that we allow our clients to go that long. So you do want your client to come in typically every 2 to 3 weeks, so you can remove any outgrown lashes, any lashes that are twisting and turning, because they will eventually do that. So that way you are removing those old ones and replacing those extensions with new ones, thus creating a beautiful looking set, creating that flow, creating shape and uniformity. Nice. That makes sense. Okay, so to piggyback off of the placement and application, we are now going to go ahead at our bottom layer, showing you the benefits of wrapping. Wrapping is really going to help make sure that the fan wraps really properly around the natural lash, thus causing a greater bond. And an example, we're going to go right on top, isolate, making sure your wrist angle is proper, placing on that natural lash and gently rocking back and forth. And now you have the perfect bond to ensure and secure your lashes for better retention. If you guys would like a more in-depth video exactly showing you guys how we wrap our lashes around the natural lash, leave it in the comment section down below and we'll definitely go ahead and make a video. Okay guys, we've completed all of our 4 steps to ensure the best retention. So the last and final point, which is the most important, is drying your lashes and setting them. So first things first, we want to take a fan and we want to dry our lashes for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. That way we can avoid shock curing when we put our bonder on, which is our last step, and to also ensure that our glue is nice and dry before applying any other product. Okay, so now that we've finished drying our lashes, we can go ahead and move on to our final step. We're going to go ahead and use our super bonder. Super bonder is kind of like insurance for our clients' lashes. So just in case if they get them wet or if they touch them, we're setting the lashes so that they dry from the outside within, so that they have time throughout the day to go ahead and really get that perfect bond to our natural lashes. Bonder will also help minimize fumes, so it makes a more enjoyable experience for your client, avoiding any eye irritations and redness as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little squeeze of our bonder, apply a droplet to our micro swab. It's okay if it kind of leaks down. We're going to use another clean micro swab and rub those two together, rubbing it together to evenly distribute that product on both of the micro swabs. And then we are going to take it. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the bonder only where the lash extensions and the lateral lashes meet. There's no need to apply the bonder all over the lashes because we don't want to close the fan. If you've ever noticed if when your client comes home, she comes back for her fill and her fans are closed, this is the mistake that we do want to try to avoid. So we're going to go ahead and just apply it right where those extensions meet. Again, this is going to help set our lashes, minimize fumes, and prolongate our retention. Taking the other swab and just gently going underneath to ensure that we're getting each extension. And then you want to make sure that you are fanning the lashes dry. You never want to just put product on and then not dry it. The reason being is if you were to go in and just brush your lashes while your bonder is drying, if you have fans or you have narrow fans or wider fans, you will cause that fan to close because the bonder is still wet. And we are fanning for about 1 to 2 minutes. And you can go ahead and slightly comb. Okay. There you have it, you guys. Our set is nice and complete and ready to go. We've done our proper steps. We've prepped, we've primed, we evenly distribute placement, and we even bonded our lashes to help with the best retention possible. So that way our client can come in within 3 to 4 weeks with still perfectly healthy lashes.
And there you guys have it. Not only did Julia absolutely kill it with my lash set, but she also shared 5 major retention tips with you guys to ensure that you get the best retention that you possibly can. Every single product that she used will be linked down in the description below, including our retention trio, which is the key to maximizing your retention. The retention trio includes the super bonder, it includes your lash primer, and you also get to choose from our 2 lash glues. You get to choose from the black or from the clear. The retention trio and every single product that she used in this video will be linked down below and is available on our website. Now, if you want the mapping for this lash set, make sure you head over to our Instagram so that we can give you all of the details. And if you have any questions or there's any other topics that you want us to cover in our next video, make sure you leave it down in the comments below. Once again, thank you all for joining us today. We will see you on our next video. Bye!